to see.
Cool. Let's go. Right, event starting. Hey guys, it's Old Man G here. Sorry a bit late, but yes, it's another episode of Red Devil Studio Live. We're doing a bit earlier this week just because we're going to be away this weekend. Just thanks everyone who's tuned in. If you're new to the channel, we'd really appreciate it if you just like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio and follow us on Twitter, WeUnitedX. So I'm Old Man G. We've got a slightly lighter crowd today. I'm joined by
Shawnee.
Team Cargo 1.
Cargo. So we're basically, as it says in the title, we're going to discuss quite a few things today. Champions League draw reaction, review the previous Premier League week, the upcoming fixtures, and we're also going to talk a bit about the other leagues in Europe starting, La Liga, the Bundesliga, Serie A, and the La Ligue 1 as well. So I think first of all, I'm just going to give it to these guys. First of all, we're going to briefly review, I think, the big key games. I guess key shocks, I would argue, over last week. And I think the big one is there's two. United, Crystal Palace, and I'll speak about that in a second. But I want you guys to think about, what about Newcastle Spurs? How did you feel about that, guys?
Yeah, I mean, full credit to Newcastle. I thought they played really well.
Mm.
Considering it's a Steve Bruce team.
Mm.
So, it's just one of them things where it was good. Mm. I think it was entertaining to watch as well. So, I don't know whether I should be shocked about it because Newcastle are sometimes they're the dark horse of the Premiership.
Mm.
I felt. I mean, it feels good for me because obviously the further Spurs and City are away from Liverpool, the better.
Yeah, of course.
I think a lot of people take credit away from Newcastle. I thought Newcastle had a really, really good game. They played really well. It's Steve Bruce, so a lot of the time you expect different football, but they actually played some really good football. So yeah, fair play.
Yeah, and one Newcastle fan I was speaking to, he was cussing Newcastle signings and blah blah blah. This Joe Linton guy, and I was telling people that Joe Linton, he's good. He's still young. He's one of those future stars. He didn't do so well at his parent club, Hoffenheim. They loaned him out, but he's still young. You can't just, players, you got to give them time, especially when they're young. And he scored a goal against the top 4 club, and only, big players do that. Strong guy, young, athletic. So, he was good against Arsenal actually as well. Fair play to Newcastle, and I'll obviously praise anyone who beats Spurs. So, fair play.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, before we get into United Crystal Palace, and I'll give my reaction. We already know my reaction to it, but I'll give a brief summary. I think it's good to have these guys here because also on the weekend, Liverpool played Arsenal. Liverpool won 3-1. And given Team Tagagi and Shawnee, both Liverpool and Arsenal fans respectively, it'd just be good to hear their take on it. So first things first, I think, Shawnee, in case of how do you feel that Liverpool? How do you feel about that results? Expected,
First of all, I've got big respect for Arsenal. It's always fun to play them, purely because over the last couple of years we've always had good games against them and 3 points. So, but Arsenal aren't like a rollover team. There'll be loads of arguments that they are against big clubs because they don't have particularly good results against big teams. But I thought they put in a good shift. It's just that Liverpool are Champions League winners. They're coming off a high. They're on really good form right now. We've got Mane, Firmino, and Salah. But they were just brilliant. They're just they don't look tired at all. Like a lot of people were worried that they'll be tired in the after the African Cup of Nations, but they look sharp. They look good. They were causing Arsenal defence heaps of problems throughout the whole game. So brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
And Team Takage won. How did you feel, Arsenal? Do you feel that, question here, because I think a lot of Arsenal fans were saying that they felt that Unai Emery got his tactics wrong. And why did he change things? Why was Lacazette brought on at 80 minutes? Why did the Danny Cabral, why did he play, for example, on the left, I think it was. So it seems that Arsenal played well, but that maybe the changes weren't a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know if there's injuries or he was trying to.
Well, Lacazette wasn't injured.
Yeah, I mean, he came on at 80 minutes or something ridiculous. He came on at 80 minutes or something ridiculous like that. So I don't know if there's injuries. Obviously, Torreira came on late too. Or was he trying to get his tactics and overthink playing against a big club? It seems few people try and do that when they play City or Liverpool. They either kind of just sit back, don't try and attack, or they try and like outsmart Klopp or Guardiola, and it just never works. I think what City and Liverpool are good at, that's why they're winners, is basically consistency. So you'll see the same front three, or you see the same midfield, or the same back line with one or two changes. It's never like a full squad change. You look at the teams that started against our first two games, Newcastle and Burnley. There was only one or two changes there. In this game, Pepe started, which was good, but like, okay, why didn't he start from the start of this season? He put a whole different midfield. Xhaka had his first game of the season against Liverpool, which I understand he's experienced, but he's just not the right one.
It's probably not the best idea, is it?
You got Joe Willock there, and he should have just basically kept the same team that he played against Burnley. It worked. We've been winning. Don't change something if it's not broke. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So yeah, overcomplicated. We played well though, considering there was a Champions of Europe. I didn't ever expect to win, but I think we would have had a better fight if it was. Obviously, all the Arsenal fans are calling for Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang front three. So hopefully we'll see that in the North London derby. And yeah, no Xhaka.
Is that Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday, I think.
Sunday,
I think it's a later kickoff. I think it might be the 4 o'clock one, 4:30.
Yeah.
So I'll be tuned in for that.
Yeah.
Yep, Sunday 4:30 kickoff. Yeah, so good, fair enough. Okay, so obviously I'll give my thoughts. Already know, guys, that United losing to Crystal Palace was quite. I was there. And it was quite a kick in the teeth, to be honest. I don't think Palace played well at all, to be honest. They've essentially put 10 men behind the ball for 90 minutes. The concern for me as a United fan is that we don't really have any players to really break down teams, and we struggle to break down teams who do that. So we seem to play okay when we have space. We can counter and play, and I think that works. So I think against other teams like a Norwich, for example, possibly even a Leicester, Watford as well, and a few other teams, I think will be all right. Or maybe Southampton, hopefully this weekend, because they'll give us a bit more space to play. But I think against your Burnleys, against your Brightons and your Wolveses and Newcastles and teams that really are quite compact, it's going to be quite difficult, and I think that is a problem for Manchester United. And, I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but I personally think that.
The stats were mad for Man United. I think they had like 26, 27 shots or something.
Shots, but only 3 on target.
Yeah,
and Crystal Palace had 3 on target, so it's a similar thing with,
on another day you might have more goals than that though. If you have that many shots, you're expecting at least 10.
Indeed, and I think as well, I think that, to be honest, it's like a small margin. So, for example, we've had 2, I would argue, crucial penalty misses.
Yeah.
Because I think if we score the penalty against Wolves, we win the game.
Yeah.
That's 3 points. You score the penalty against Crystal Palace at, I think it was 70-something minutes. You've still got another 20 minutes to basically go for it, because that changes the game. And then suddenly Crystal Palace, because Crystal Palace is not going to go out and attack to get the win. They're going to sit back and defend. And then we go for the kill, which is what we've done before.
Yeah.
So, on another day, if we score those penalties, I think we come up with maximum points in all 3 games. And that's something that I think is a shadow, So, and
they need to get that right, don't they? Like who's
big game players?
Yeah.
Big game players.
To be honest, I would have just given.
I reckon if Rashford took that against who did you play last? The one that Pogba was meant to take. and he takes this one. I reckon obviously only talking. I think he scores all three.
Yeah,
I think that whole thing and has added more pressure on him.
He's not a penalty taker, Pogba.
Nah, but he's like, I guess he's like,
the
captain.
Yes, they alternate between the two. So I think that Pogba was supposed. They choose this. They choose themselves. So I think because usually if Pogba wins the penalty, then Pogba will take the penalty. But if another player takes the penalty, they're going to fall like a Martial or Rashford, and Rashford tends to support and take the penalty. So like you saw PSG, Dalot won the penalty, and so therefore
the problem I have with that is he's missed like the last 4 or 5 penalties or something. Yeah.
Papa Pump.
Yeah.
Hey, Ian, how you doing? You're right. Back to tuning in.
So he's missed like the last 4 or 5 pens.
Yeah.
It's just like, give it up, bro. And I mean, as a manager, I'd step in and just like go, Paul. Sorry, buddy.
But the problem now is that Pogba is obviously a big player, and so what inevitably happened was that people saying, "Oh, Rashford should." So that relationship worked because there wasn't any pressure. You know what I mean? So the positive thing about that's all because frankly, at Barcelona they did that all the time. I know they're world-class players. But it wasn't like Messi had to take the sort of penalty.
That's true.
Messi, Suarez, Neymar. Who cared? Hat-trick. There you go, or whatever. Who cares? So, and that flexibility often actually relieves the pressure.
Yeah.
But when you're now said you are the penalty taker, you have to do it. When you weren't before, because I know like your Kanes and your Milners, that's just what they do. Their sort of thing, and they've had time to get into that role. But if you've suddenly gone from it's flexible to you have to be the penalty taker, and the pressure now is on you to score. And to be fair, it was a good penalty. It just hit the underside of the bar. Pogba's penalty, I think, also was a good penalty. It's just that it just hit low because usually he does the stutter up. That stutter up might have actually been better in that case, So because the keeper would have gone down first. And
I prefer it over.
I honestly think at this level of football, if you get a penalty, there's no excuse. You have to score that penalty. You need someone in the dressing room or someone in the team that's just a consistent scorer of penalties.
Kane doesn't miss penalties.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Rashford didn't miss penalties though before. This is probably the first penalty that Marcus Rashford has scored.
Yeah, but that's the whole.
That's what you say. If Rashford took the previous penalty that Pogba took,
scoring it.
That's what I mean. I don't know.
I think Rashford's more like you see the way he takes penalties. No keeper usually saves those type of penalties. The way he hits it, it's like up and down so quickly.
He hit the bar. If it goes an inch, it goes in. There's no the keeper's beat already.
I would keep Rashford on pens, I think.
That's what I mean. But like Pogba, if he's missed that many pens, you just like say, fella, step aside, just for a little bit. Practice.
I think the problem in that though, he's like pretty much the senior. You know what I mean?
Exactly. This is the thing.
He's one of the captains, so if he.
I mean, when Steven Gerrard, when he was at the club, he was the captain. It doesn't matter who got the pen. It was like, son, step aside. It's me taking the pen.
You got to have that, I think, as well.
But like I said, it varies because again at Barcelona they didn't have that. So even I would argue that I don't know whether Madrid did. Yeah, Ronaldo would have taken most of the penalties. Yeah, but Barcelona, like there was no.
Yeah.
And
but it's kind of, I don't know, it's more relaxed over there. They probably already scored like 4 or 5 by that time. And they're just like, you want a penalty? All right, step right up. And if you miss,
but even then, I don't think you could have said there was a consistent penalty taker for. Even now, I don't think there's a consistent penalty taker for Barcelona. I think that
I remember seeing Ter Stegen take a blinded penalty.
Yeah,
like just like great.
It was a good one too.
Yeah. But like that's what I mean. Is that if you have brilliant penalty takers, then fine. Just like
Messi's missed quite a few penalties. I think even Ronaldo. Well, certainly more so Messi. I just think that the whole thing was blown out of proportion. I think that was the big thing.
Yeah. If
it had just been like, and we'll move on in a second because I'm dwelling it. But if it had just been literally just like. Okay, missed a penalty. That's it. Like Aguero missed a penalty against Spurs.
Yeah. Like Josh said, though, it might be that they're already 3-0 up at that time. It's the emphasis is on that they had to win that game.
No,
and they lost it because they did.
But that's what I mean. Like Aguero missed a crucial penalty against Spurs. Like you remember the Champions League quarterfinal.
Yeah.
First win of the league, wins the penalty. He misses that penalty, and then Spurs go on to win 1-0. And if Aguero scores that penalty. City go through.
Yeah.
You know, so
to be fair to Aguero though, he doesn't normally miss.
no, of course not. Of course not.
Where Pogba, if he's missed 5 in a row, you have to say to Pogba, sorry fella, just step back for a minute. And Rashford, you step in and you.
Welcome, Illa United. Thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Feel free to put your questions in. Always appreciate your comments. Really appreciate it. Fine. Okay, so we talked. I think we won't go into all of the big games because I think there's a lot to talk about. So I think the first thing, obviously, we want to talk about. Obviously, the Europa League draw is tomorrow, and please still stay tuned into that watch along. But the Champions League draw has gone, and before we preview the upcoming fixtures for the coming week, we're just going to have a reaction to the Champions League draw really, and then and see. So, Team Takage, thoughts, guys, in the comments about the Champions League draw. What do you think?
Obviously, City. City.
They're just like ghosting.
Yeah. City always get an easy group. They can, they can buy this. They can't buy VAR, but they can buy this. You know, a couple of bribes must have been gone there.
I just think it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, City. I remember last time. Did they have Bayern Munich in their group once? Was that before Pep?
This was before. So what happened is before you obviously had the they changed the system so that pot 1. Goes for like the winners of the respective. So before they changed that, City were in slightly harder groups because it was based on their previous Champions League experience, which wasn't that good. So that's how they seeded the groups. That's why United always got better groups because their previous history was,
City have crap teams. Yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah, City do have crap teams. They do have crap teams. What essentially happened though is they changed the system. So it's now like in pot 1 is the Champions League winner, Europa League winner, and then the top 6 leagues in Europe, the winners of those. So City have obviously won the league in the last 2 seasons. So they are automatically a pot 1 team. And for whatever reason, the way that it's organised, they can't obviously have other English teams. And because of TV rights and a few other things, they just end up with easy teams.
I remember there was when we were watching it.
Thanks to everyone who's watching, by the way. Go on.
No, when we were watching it, there was massive emphasis on what they were trying to achieve there. So it was all about like money and games and who can watch the games and at what time. And then there was like a big deal about obviously you don't want the Ukraine.
Ukraine and Russia,
Ukraine,
so you can't have.
Being,
I think it's Shakhtar Donetsk and any Moscow team, basically. Yeah.
So like there was like huge emphasis on that, and so I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to organise the Champions League a little bit better to make it more entertaining. But it has kind of worked out. I think there's a lot of groups there that are actually quite good, like the Chelsea, Ajax, Valencia, and Lille. That's actually like I'm looking forward to those games. I'm looking forward to them games. They're going to be like really cool games to watch. The Bayern Munich, Tottenham Hotspur, Olympiacos, and I can't pronounce that other name. What's Zvezda?
I think it's is it a Czech team?
Zvezda.
Are they from Czech Republic?
Where? Dinamo's...
No.
Krvina.
Zvezda. I think they're Czech.
Where's this? In what?
In Tottenham's group.
Tottenham have... Let's check it. Let's have a look. Let me have a look.
Sandgard, Smaldini, to Roma. Oh, right, yeah.
Krvina, Zvezda. I'm sure they're called something else.
Yeah, right.
I have a feeling they're called... I think that's...
It might be something Prague.
Yeah, I think that's Sparta Prague.
Is it?
I think that's actually Sparta Prague.
Like their Czech name.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Why the hell are they putting it on like that then?
I think I don't think that's Sparta Prague. There you go, man.
But yeah, once again, it's just they look like really cool games. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, like it's the Man City is probably the one that I'm looking least forward to.
I'm not watching any of that.
Which one, sorry?
There's no point.
Man City.
There's no point.
watching them.
I mean, because I can't think of a single team in Man City's group that could even give them a game, to be honest. Like, I mean, who is in Man City's group again? So, like, you have Shakhtar Donetsk. I mean, the only team possibly I might go is Atlanta. only just because in Italy it's a difficult environment, and Atalanta actually did play quite well in Serie A.
And they finished there.
And they finished with, so possibly Atalanta, but everyone else, no chance. As a Liverpool fan, what do you think? Oh, United, thank God Smaldini to Roma. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, I posted a video actually in United about it's on the channel about Chris Smalling going to United. So just make sure you check that out. Shawnee, what do you think about Liverpool's group?
Personally? I'm quite happy with it. There was a lot of sides when we got Napoli again, but actually, I'm quite glad that there's one hard game because it keeps you keeps you on your toes. If you just have easy games that you ghost in the Champions League, you're not on form. When you then come to meet Paris Saint-Germain or Bayern Munich or something like that.
You think that's maybe what happened to City last year because they coasted through their group, and then in the first round they had Lyon, was it?
Yeah, it's like damn, there's good teams in the Champions League.
After that, was it? No, it wasn't Liverpool after that.
No, we didn't. Well, they got knocked out by Tottenham, didn't they?
They got knocked out by Tottenham in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So it was Lyon and then
Liverpool
Tottenham.
The year before, wasn't
and Liverpool the year before. So they had an easy team. So no, that was quarterfinals.
Was it?
Yeah. Liverpool
so
semi-finals.
Semi-finals before City.
The last time City won was under Pellegrini. They got with Pellegrini in his last season. Remember before he got sacked and they lost it to Real Madrid, but they didn't particularly play particularly well. That was their closest time to get into a final.
Still there.
Yeah, Dzeko, Sterling had just arrived, all the rest of it, and but I think they were afraid of Real Madrid, and then Real Madrid got through to the end. But under Pep Guardiola, they have not been able to get to. Even frankly, Pep, I don't think brought Bayern Munich to a semi-final or final either. So when was the last time Pep Guardiola brought a team to a final of a Champions League?
Well, it's got to be.
There you go. See, so there's silence there. Yeah. We're talking about the best manager in the world, and they're like, he hasn't actually. When was the last time he brought a team to least the semi-final? Barcelona. So how many years ago was that?
2011? No, 12? 11?
Because was that 7 years?
7 years ago.
Yeah.
So Klopp, on the other hand. Klopp Dortmund to the Champions League final.
Final guy.
Like in 2015, I think.
With
two
Klopp,
finals with Liverpool.
Klopp's prepared for the marathon, not the sprint, if that makes sense. Because City, they blow away teams, blah, 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 blah. Liverpool, for some reason, even though they might have, their group last year was tough, but, they were still doing pretty well at the start. And then Napoli and PSG turned the gas on away from home, and then they went to the last game. Yeah. So arguably, Liverpool always have to do it the hard way somehow. I don't know if it's by their own doing or what. Remember when they went to the Europa League final? The Dortmund game, you were how many goals down? It's just they have to.
They're like the drama queens of football. They need to.
Klopp's right, let's make this dramatic.
I mean, look at the Champions League final 2005. We went 3-0 down against AC Milan.
Something about Liverpool club, but arguably only. I would say only Liverpool could do things like that.
Yeah, my dad my dad always jokes. He's just like, guys, next year I'm just going to support Tranmere because they're just like a mid League Two.
And your hearts will be fine.
It just doesn't do anything for the health, does it?
No,
that's it.
But seeing as Liverpool doing it the hard way, let's just speak about some of the other teams in the Champions League before we go into talking about some of the other teams around Europe. In fact, actually, why don't we merge it? We'll merge it. So let's look at big team PSG, or who I call the bottle jobs of Europe. That is what I call them, the bottle jobs of Europe. I think that. Do you think that it's their year?
No.
It depends who they get in the. Hold on, let me just have a quick look at the group. Do you know how the group off?
So PSG says PSG. It's Real Madrid. It is.
Was it Inter?
Inter. No. Inter are in.
Inter's
Barca's group.
Yeah. If I can pull it up, then I should be able to.
You got it.
I'm just looking for it now. So PSG, Real Madrid, and who?
So PSG, Real Madrid, I think. I'll get up. Sorry, guys.
It's Club Brugge and
Galatasaray. That's it.
So, that's if I'm honest.
Yeah, Galatasaray is a tough game.
I mean, to go there, it's a bit mad.
Yeah.
You know,
this is my thing with Real Madrid is that I feel like Real Madrid are almost like Manchester United in a way, and where you expect them to win, but their form has been so bad as of recently that if they did go away to Galatasaray and lost, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So you wouldn't be like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
PSG usually do okay in the group stages.
Yeah.
Who do you think will top that group? Who do you guys think will go for that group?
Honestly, I think PSG are going to top that group.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that they can? Do you think PSG can win the Champions League?
No, I think PSG.
Yeah.
They don't have. They don't have that kind of. I don't know how to describe it. Like teams like the only reason for me why Real Madrid won it recently was Ronaldo. Obviously Bale, did spot, but Ronaldo kind of got them there. If that makes sense. And it's that kind of star power. So PSG have all these stars. But it's not a team. You know what I mean? You have your domestic league, which is so easy. You can finish how many points above second and still, you know what I mean, and still have some change. So it's same with Bayern Munich now. You could say Dortmund are they'll probably give them a good challenge this season, and they gave them a really good challenge last season. So it's a bit different in the Bundesliga now. There's a bit of competition there.
We'll talk about Bayern Munich. In fact. Okay, so we said that PSG you don't think are going to win the Champions League. I don't think they're going to win the Champions League either.
They never won it enough. That's what it seems like. It seems like they never won it enough.
I don't know whether they don't want it. I just think that they we're talking about. I stand by my statement where I think they are the biggest bottle jobs in Europe, because if you look at the way that they've gone out over the last couple of years. They haven't. So City, have not. City have not got through past the quarterfinals in the last 3 years. Okay, they were knocked out by Monaco, Liverpool, and Spurs. PSG, the last 3 years, they played against Manchester United, Barcelona. And then I think it was Real Madrid before. Real Madrid before Chelsea. Real Madrid, a few years ago, so they go ahead, and then they just completely capitulate afterwards. But you're like, okay, fine, okay, it was, and it's against Real Madrid who were in their peak, so you can forgive that.
Yeah.
Barcelona the season before, they smashed Barcelona 4-0, and somehow lose 5-0. Do you remember that? I think it was 4-0. I meant to again. It was PSG 4, Barcelona game done, and somehow they conceded 5 goals at the Camp Nou to Barcelona gotten out. So you're like, how?
You could literally.
And then this season, a United team that was basically a bunch of academy players and kids, and they're 2-0. I think they're 2. Was it 2-0? Yeah, it was 2-0. They were 2-0 up from Old Trafford, 2 away goals, and they lose 3-1.
Yeah.
What team does that? It's just what you could even excuse it that Barcelona and Madrid. No, I can't excuse the Barcelona one. I can't excuse conceding 5 goals to Camp Nou. That's one type of bad. But then to lose, because to lose against United's B team, academy players at home.
Yeah, I mean the Barcelona one, you get. There's no excuse for it, but you.
Hello, Ramos. Good to see you. Rasmus, how are you doing? You're right. Go on.
You know, I was going to say you could almost tell that they thought the job was done, and then they obviously came at them.
Rasmus, they lost actually 6-1 at the Camp Nou. Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, that was it because they scored because it was 4-0 in Paris. Yes, and then you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't even know how that works, Rasmus. I actually don't know how PSG were able to bottle it that hard that they lost. They conceded 6 goals. It boggles the mind. So go on, Shawnee. Go on.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, it's kind of like they thought the job was done.
Mm.
You know, you see that happening with teams quite. I mean, I think it even happened to Barcelona and Bayern Munich. Like Barcelona were like up. I think they were up like 3-0 or 4-0 or something like that, and then Bayern Munich like beat them 5-0 or something at. I can't remember.
I think that was in Munich, in Germany. I think that's when they did that. Yeah.
But you know, Barcelona turned up just thinking to themselves, we can just sort of coast it now.
What do you guys think? The Bayern and Tottenham group. Spurs have had a shaky start of the season.
So are Bayern, to be fair.
Yeah. They drew the first game?
Yeah, they drew the first game.
I don't know what team Spurs played against Newcastle. Does anybody know off the top of their head? Because I know Son was playing.
Son was back, but if Kane continues to play, I think they will struggle. Simple as that. That for me is, I think, a lot of
while Tottenham plays by himself up front anyway.
Yeah, I think
they play a 4-5-1, and it's like, okay,
it doesn't work.
Like, you remember how Van Dijk just manhandled Kane in the final? He was like, "All right, come here," and he just made him look like a toddler. Like, Kane's quite a strong guy.
Yeah.
Van Dijk was just pushed so easily. I felt it like almost
he was. How long was Kane out for? He shouldn't have started.
No. He wasn't fit. He shouldn't have started. I don't think it. I don't think it was right.
Obviously, for me, you know, I don't like Tottenham, but I know they play much better with Son and more running at you with pace. Because you've got something.
That's how the modern game's played now.
Yeah. That's
like the modern game's played like that. It's not a Kane style game anymore.
Like Kane, like you have players like Diego Costa, right? Who they're not the fastest in the world, but they run in behind and they make it. Like Kane does. He's not a running behind type of guy. He kind of wants.
He's a good finisher.
Oh yeah,
but he wants ball to feed
in the box, and then but I think Tottenham will struggle because they actually have a decent team. They signed Ndombele, that guy. They got Lo Celso. Lamella's back now. They've actually got a decent squad, but they're just...
Rasmus A, it's depressing that we're not in the USL. I'm sure we will be in the USL next year. Not sure we'll be in the USL either. Yeah, Rasmus, you're a Manchester United fan. Yeah. I mean, I've got an Arsenal fan with me here who is also... They haven't been in the Champions League for quite some time either. It is depressing that we're not in the Champions League.
3 seasons, I think?
I think it's been 3 seasons for Arsenal, I think. The way I sort of look at it is...
don't need reminding, mate. Thanks.
The way I see it is that I think that it is a bit of a small club mentality to always go for fourth, to always go Champions League, because you want to see progression. Because you look at Liverpool, and Liverpool at one point were 6th, 7th, 8th place team, but they improved their league position year on year, and now they're challenging for titles. And now, they've added to their squad, so they're now able to challenge for the title, and now they're also able to challenge for the UCL as well. I just think that if you just get
defending
the UCL, defending UCL. Sorry, Shawnee, defending the UCL, defending the UCL.
I mean, arguably Tottenham could be like that too if they just.
Got the hands.
No, seriously.
No, but Tottenham are in this situation because they improved it. The point I'm trying to make is that, like, the mentality I think that was under Arsenal and potentially maybe Manchester United is this idea: we just got to get fourth. You've got to get fourth. We've got to get fourth, and it's like you can just get bound by that you forget that there's no real progression. Because to be honest, fourth place was a luck last year.
Yeah.
All the teams were bad outside Liverpool and City, so it was a lot of luck. But just because you're fourth and just because you're going to Champions League doesn't mean that you're good. It doesn't mean there's any progression either. So
there's a few times where Liverpool came fourth and we scraped through the group stages just to get knocked out by the next team. And it's just it isn't any good that way. So like, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Because at the end of the day, like, you have to have the depth of squad to be able to compete in multiple competitions as well. And a bit of luck, of course, but it's got to be there. Yeah. And if you don't have that, then what's the point? What? So what else? So we seem to be all in agreement that PSG are not going to win the Champions League.
I doubt it.
They're not in it. Just going into Ligue 1, we'll just talk about Ligue 1 while we're going through these teams. So Ligue 1, is that PSG's again? They did lose. They did lose to Rennes, who have actually started quite well this season. Rennes, they beat them 2-1. Niang, I think it was, who was at Everton, wasn't he? Niang. Where was it? At Everton. Maybe. But I recognise. But I recognise him from. I'm fairly sure it was or Stoke, possibly. I can't remember. So
his name sounds familiar. I don't know. Like I just PSG. How many points did they win the league by?
Hayden, how you doing? You're right. Do you want to come on, Hayden, or you just want to listen? Hayden. If you want to listen, just ring me. But if not, then just join the stream. Appreciate you. All right.
Submit your questions.
Submit your questions, guys. All questions you want. We really appreciate it, guys. Shawnee, you were speaking. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I was pretty much finished. How many points did PSG finish the league by last season? It must have been like 10 points or something, maybe more. So I don't know. Can any other team in the French league gain them 10 points on PSG? I don't think it. Like Lyon, for instance, they've sold a lot, haven't they? They've managed to. Is Fekir still there?
Fekir went to Real Betis.
Well, there you go. So is there anybody else that can rival them? Ndombele's gone.
Everybody sold their best players.
Yeah,
I think
everyone sold their best. In the French league, like everyone sold apart from PSG.
I think for PSG, I think a lot of it will be based on the actual mentality.
Yeah.
Actually, because I think that with the whole Neymar debacle, so I'm just gonna read a few the comments from Rasmus before I go into it. Rasmus say, I agree going for UCL spot shouldn't ever be a season objective. It should always be challenging for titles when even second spot is the first spot loser. But nowadays, players want UCL. Like we heard rumors of Sancho that want to join us for not qualifying UCL. Yeah, you're right. I think that's true. I think UCL obviously is things it does attract players, and I agree with that. But I also think the club, a star, and the positivity is also very important as well, and the manager who you're playing under. You can tell that people want to play for Jurgen Klopp, for example. You can tell that people want to play. I think they want to play for Zidane. I don't know. So, but the point is that yes, UCL is good, but the likes of Salah, the likes of Mane, the likes of Firmino, all of those players came to Liverpool without the expectation of playing in the Champions League. We're going to get Hayden on. 1 second.
Hayden.
Ooh. Hayden, you there?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, man. Awesome. We're just talking about Champions League now. Champions League group stage.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. We're just going. So, I guess we'll go to you. So we'll finish the PSG wrap. So let's go into the Bundesliga, and let's talk about Dortmund. So Dortmund's group. Dortmund have Barcelona. Who else is in Dortmund's group? They have.
That's a tough group.
It's a tough group.
I think they have Inter.
I think that's the toughest. It's like the group of death.
Yeah.
Barcelona was probably the group of death last year.
Yeah.
Barcelona, Dortmund, Inter Milan, and Slavia Prague. Well, let's actually talk about that group because you're right. I think that is the group of death. Although I would argue that Liverpool's group isn't entirely easy. Red Bull, Salzburg are quite a nice side to look at if you look at them. So that's not an easy game.
A few tough games. There's no denying that Liverpool's got a few tough games there. I just think that like Salzburg, like Ghent for instance, they're going to be good games, but it's games that Liverpool's got to win them. Like I mean, we're defending the Champions League. If we go and draw in Ghent, you're just like, what are you doing? You get your hands off it.
Well, I mean, it happened with Real Madrid as well. So they lost a few of those games, but then anyway, going back to Dortmund, I guess who do you guys think is going to top that group, leave that group? And then more importantly, do you think that Dortmund can win the Bundesliga this season?
I think Dortmund are in with a shot at winning that group, even though I think Barcelona, when it comes to that kind of thing, they do just come trumps and they end up top of the group.
Because my issue with Barcelona right now is just defensively.
Yeah,
that is the key thing is that I don't know whether Dortmund is that a comment.
but then they smash like 6 goals past.
That's the thing.
Yeah, they smash. It's like they conceded 3 goals, but they're like 6-3 up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one because if Dortmund's defense has improved, they did bring Hummels back, although whether Hummels was pacified, I'm not sure. If they can solidify their defense, they should have really won the Bundesliga and they could have progressed far because they play a lot of good counter-attacking football at pace. Jadon Sancho's on form and can score a lot of goals.
They need to stop selling their players. I reckon they can win the Bundesliga or at least compete.
I think they stopped doing it now.
Yeah,
because they used to sell all their players.
I think what they're doing now is they can sell them, but it's just that now they're being sold for lots. So it's not that they can't sell them. It's that we're going to sell them, so they did sell Ousmane Dembele, for example. But how much they get from? They got from like 100+ million, 120, I think. So it's like if you're going to buy our players that we really want, we're going to charge you an arm and a leg. I'm sure Liverpool didn't want Coutinho to go, but they're like, if you're going to get him, you're going to pay £150 to get him. And it's like, oh, okay.
And it's like mega bucks. And even Coutinho said at the time, he was like, if it was any other club, he would have said no. But because it was Barcelona, he had to have a shot there. And he only had, 2 seasons?
1 season.
1 season?
And now he's on loan to...
just loan. Yeah.
Loan. He's on loan to Bayern and with option we'll see. Like James Rodriguez was.
So that's, a loan for a player of his calibre is an insult. It's basically Barcelona saying we can't be bothered to pay your wage, so we're going to let another club pay your wage.
I think the problem was that they bought Coutinho because they wanted Coutinho to be Iniesta, and I don't think Coutinho was that Iniesta type of player.
They'll be looking a long time for another Iniesta, won't they?
The thing is, Pogba can play that type of role. In terms of where, like, that sort of, but, Pogba can do that, where you can, like, hold onto the ball, make a good, nice pass, go forward, be creative. Yeah. But Coutinho was not really, I would argue, a creative midfield player. He was more of like I wouldn't even call it as a winger. I'd say like a creative number 10 almost is the impression that I got, so. Yeah,
I don't know. Like, Iniesta, he was just absolutely, you just literally can't compare anybody to Iniesta. Iniesta was just an absolute genius, just brilliant. But if that's what they were going for, if they were looking for Coutinho to fill them kind of boots, then they'll be looking a long time. They'll be looking way past Coutinho.
What Barca didn't do, basically. I mean, they've got a lot of academy players. In Barca, they've probably got one of the best in the world.
Yeah,
and the Xavis, Iniestas, Messis. They kind of just stopped, really. I'm sure they've got, Luca Digne is at Everton. You've got Andre Gomez, all these players from academy. You're probably I think their manager's obviously a big thing as well, like Valverde.
We're going to get on the mic, people are going to get on the mic.
Yeah, Valverde sucks. And I think they've got a lot of, they're blessed with a lot of young players and they just, they
come sit in the middle.
They've resorted to just buying instead. And the whole Neymar thing, like if we are honest, like Neymar, Suarez, and Messi were just unplayable. Neymar gone, and then they tried to buy another superstar to replace it. Just didn't work. You need the right manager as well. Fair
enough. Hayden,
look at Liverpool. Like they. Obviously, people are having to go them for not signing anybody, but look who they brought in. They got what's his name back from Derby, even though they loaned him out. Brewster's going to come in at some point, etc. Ox is back. They haven't signed anybody. All these players are young, homegrown kind of people. Maybe Barca need to get back into that. Might take a while, but I mean, you saw the 16-year-old. I think there's a few young guys on playing against Betis. There's a few young lads playing, and they look sharp. Okay, it's just a defense they need to sort out. Other than that,
yeah, no, I agree. Well, let's before we talk about, because there's just a few other things. How we've gone for about an hour, so we're gonna just briefly. I'm gonna just quickly go around and see who you think is actually going to win the Champions League this season, and just give reason why. I'm just going to go around to all of you guys. Then we're going to just quickly just talk about, because we talked about Germany for a bit. Let's talk about, we're going to talk about Neymar just for a little bit and this whole debacle. And then we're going to go into the the preview for the upcoming fixtures this week and then fantasy football. So I'm going to go around. Hayden, who do you think is going to win the Champions League this year and why?
I think Barcelona are going to win it because
Okay.
when you look at their squad as a whole, I think they've got their best quality players, and even in squad depth, I think they've got their good players who can fill in for others if they're unavailable. So I would say Barcelona to win this year.
Barcelona to win this year. You're not concerned that the defence might be an issue?
I think they'll make up for the defence and attack. When you look at their attack, they've got, I would say, one of the strongest in their competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they'll lack in defence, they'll make up for in attack.
Yeah, Pooper Pompey did say Barcelona. Yes, he did say Barcelona to win. He did. Whether you agree with that, Pooper Pump, I don't know if you agree with it. But Hayden, you go for Barcelona.
Okay, yeah.
You're going for Barcelona. Fair enough. Okay. Shawnee, who do you think?
I mean, in terms of defending the Champions League, I think we're going to do a good job, and I think we're going to be up there. I don't know, to winning it. There's a few teams. There's a few good teams there.
Just go on to one. I guess the question you're thinking is: do you think Liverpool can retain the Champions League?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can. I mean, we're just as strong as anybody else there. And I don't know. Like Liverpool just have this fire for the Champions League. So I just I wouldn't hesitate, and I wouldn't really be too. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be hesitating saying that we could just retain that. Do it twice in a row. I don't think we've done that since I think we did it back in 76 and 77, was it, or something like that? There was, yeah. So like I'll go for Liverpool.
Liverpool. Okay. Team Takagi.
I think the only people that can beat Liverpool are City, like in a final. Sorry. So if City can get there, then
that'll be a good game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm going for City because City have beaten Liverpool. Let's see. City beat them in Community Shield. They beat them once last season.
Community Shield doesn't count. I don't count the Community Shield. It just doesn't count. Mourinho won the Community Shield. It doesn't count. It's like a pre-season friendly. Like
I'm sure City count. The Sack counted even. They'll be like, yeah, we got one over Liverpool type of thing. Anyways, so that's the only team that I can see in the final beating Liverpool.
Yeah, that'll be a great final.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's what people wanted last season.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think people wanted Barcelona Ajax last season, and they got Liverpool Spurs instead.
That's probably what they're trying to do.
They're trying to do, and they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is Liverpool are going to retain it if City don't meet them in the final.
Yeah.
Because I just don't see anybody else.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about Liverpool. They just love the Champions League. They do well.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we have like Balotelli, we even scrape through the group stages with someone like Balotelli and Ricky Lambert on our team. It's just ridiculous that we can do that with players like that. So, but I don't know. There just seems to be that aura in the club that we just love. We love the Champions League, and I think we're going to do a really good job defending it this year, if not win it. So I'll go for Liverpool again. And I know that sounds like a very biased and unhumble opinion. I don't know. I can't see any. We're just as strong as everybody else there. It's just that we just have that extra fire.
As a United fan, I'm going to quickly go around actually again just to see who you think your wild cards are. So who you think your cards are sort of your wild, who you think is a wild card to win. But I'm actually going to agree with Shawnee here. As much as it pains me as a Manchester United fan, and it really, really does, the most concerning thing for me of this season is I'm very concerned that Liverpool could win the treble. That for me concerns me a lot because only United is the only, I think, of my British team to do it.
Yeah, our FA Cup run's awful though.
So, but it's just that I think the thing is with Van Dijk, Van Dijk prior to that Klopp doesn't make a rules of changes and all the rest of it. if he plays Van Dijk in the FA Cup, in the Champions League, and all these things, like then you know they're going to be defensively solid. They've not conceded as many goals as before, and I think I look at all the other teams in Europe and I just see weaknesses. I see weaknesses in PSG. I see weaknesses in Madrid. I see weaknesses in Barcelona. I see weaknesses in Bayern, and I see City. Even with City, I just think that Pep, for just some reason, I just don't think, and I'll make a bold claim in here. I'm going to say that I don't think Pep is going to win the Champions League with Manchester City. I'm going to say that statement now. I will say it because, winning the team, preparing the team, blowing away teams in a league is fine, and Pep is good at doing that. But I think when it comes to one-on-one competitions, when you need composure, when you need leadership, when you need strong characters, and you need tactical decisions.
And you're also facing world-class opposition.
Yeah, world-class opposition, which City don't often face, as we see in the group stage, which can train them. They struggle. And Pep, I've noticed as well, and I'll finish here, he tactically overthinks it sometimes. Like, I even remember last season against Spurs at away, like, he made so many changes. He played quite fearful, defensive, and you're just like, why don't you just play your game? The Spurs won't be able to deal with that. So I just feel that if City come up against even a Dortmund, or even just very solid teams, like even to be honest, City have not come up against in the last 3 seasons, I would argue, any of the top European teams. They lost to Monaco. They lost to Liverpool and lost to Spurs.
Yeah.
It's not like they were knocked out by Real or Juve or Atletico or Dortmund or Bayern or any of those PSG or any of those Spurs. They've not played against any of those teams. So we're saying they can win it despite the fact they've never actually come across any of those top teams or beaten those top teams in Europe.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me just quickly go around and we'll just go through our wild cards to win the Champions League, and then we'll just review the fixtures, where we're on 40 minutes, so we'll probably need to start wrapping things up. Hayden, who would you say is your wild card for winning the Champions League?
Hayden.
There's a few teams in here who I think could surprise a lot of people. Tottenham. Be one. Because, they got to the final last year. Liverpool won better.
Yeah.
So, they could surprise people. So, I would probably say Tottenham.
Tottenham. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good wild card. I just, I don't know, like, I have a feeling Tottenham are going to fold in the Champions League this year.
Okay.
And it's purely because there's a lot of the times they did brilliantly to get through Ajax. But that was actually the first time that I actually saw them play brilliantly in the Champions League was against Ajax when they came back from being 3-0 down. The rest of the time, I thought to myself, they look like a pretty mediocre team for a Champions League team. So I don't know. I think they might fold this year. Hayden's completely right. They did brilliantly last season in the Champions League, and they got themselves to the final, faced Liverpool, and because they faced Liverpool, both teams, Liverpool and Tottenham, you could see it felt weird. Both them teams being in the Champions League final. What's happening?
Yeah.
How did you get here?
Who did you get? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Team Takage, who do you think?
The wild card. I don't know. I think it's going to be like last season. Obviously, people were saying. I mean, the people who did well last season, I think they may continue the same run. I think there might be similar people
challenging. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like Roma.
Ajax got rid of De Jong and De Ligt.
Yeah.
But Ziyech is still there. Van der Beek's still there.
Yeah.
Got it. Tagliafico, all good players are still there.
Yeah, that's it.
If Dortmund get out of the group.
Yeah, they
I mean, you know, this Inter though, like, obviously I watched their first game of the season. I know it was against, like, I think the name of the team is, like, Milk in Spanish. So you got to beat a team like that.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, they look kind of sharp to me.
Yeah.
I think like a 36-year-old or something scored.
Yeah, right.
So you know what I mean. So I think obviously Lukaku, they got fresh legs type of thing. They could potentially if whoever comes top in that group, I think is going to go very far. And by that I mean I don't think Barcelona are going to finish top.
Oh, Rasmus asking, do you think City can go for quadruple? No.
Is he a City fan?
No, he's a United fan.
He was just making a joke then, I guess.
Do you think City can go for quadruple? I think it's a general question. No.
I mean, they try it every year, don't they?
Exactly. I mean, they try every year, but like I said,
that's their target every season.
Every season, it's like, can they go for? I just don't. I stand by my point, Rasmus.
I mean, they could.
They could in theory, but I just can't see them win the Champions League.
No.
And the Premier League, yes, there's a shot that they could again pick the Liverpool's the title again, possibly.
I'd hate that. I'd hate if they beat us by a point again.
The only thing I say about the City is that I just feel that again defensively, they're not the best, and we'll see, because I think that there are at least a few teams in the Premier League. Your Wolves, your Leicesters, and a few teams that I could easily see taking points from Manchester City.
I mean, if it wasn't for that the goal by Kompany against Leicester, Leicester would have drew against City.
Yeah, and Leicester another dark horse.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a different. This is a different stream.
Yeah. So what? So are you saying was that Dortmund? Was it that your dark horse? Who's your official dark horse? In Dortmund.
Yeah. So basically, well, I mean, it was a bit of a fence answer, but anyone who tops that group is going to go.
I think, and you're going to be surprised with my wild card. They don't really no one's really speak about them a lot, but I think they made a lot of really good signings, and they look really good. I think when I've seen them play, and that is Atletico Madrid. I think no one is speaking about Atletico Madrid at all, and yet they made so many João Felix, Kieran Trippier and alike, and that people just sleeping on them, and they're doing the business. And Barcelona and Real Madrid still look quite weak. I think this is Atletico Madrid's year to really go out and even win their treble, because they could easily win La Liga if they go at it.
Play their cards right. Yeah.
The Copa del Rey is straightforward, and if they push in the Champions League, they've got a shout. So this could be, if there's any season that I think Atletico Madrid could make a statement in Europe and in the league, this is their best chance.
The players don't need a little bit of time to gel, though. It's like obviously you have.
João Felix is I've seen him in the game. He looks good. He just looks. There's some players that, like Van Dijk, he just starts and it's just like João Felix just looks
he's been
good.
there for years. Yeah.
I think they're also playing slightly different as well. They're not playing as defensively because you have that type of playmaker, João Felix, stuff like that. There's a bit more edge to them, It's not as just traditionally defensive and what have you, So which is really good. But I would say my dark horse is definitely Atletico Madrid, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got a bit further. Really, I mean, they arguably could have, but for Cristiano Ronaldo.
No doubt.
If they don't face Cristiano Ronaldo, they'll be fine. But I think there's a psychological thing there against, if they see Ronaldo and FA Juve, it'll be like, my God, this man.
City, quality team as well, that they have at Juventus there. So another wild card as well, like Juventus.
I would feel Juventus is more of a favourite. I think I wouldn't class Juventus as. I feel like if we're talking about favourites, it's got to be Liverpool, Juventus, Man City, and then
Barca maybe.
Barcelona as well. Those are kind of your four you're thinking are definitely favourites. That's I think anyway. Rasmus A saying that would be the end of football if just oil money win. Oh yeah, I agree. Although I think that it's really already the end of football with how things are going. But like I said, I don't think Man City are going to win a Champions League. So there, watch this space. I will do a video on it actually when City bottle out the Champions League. I will laugh. And then to win an unprecedented quadruple, so I will always go for whoever City face. No, it's City will crash out the Champions League. I think not in the group stages.
It's amazing, isn't it? They're brilliant at winning the Champions League. The Premiership, but they can't do it with the cups
Yeah, because it's a cup competition at the end of the day, and
it's like teams have like a free hit at them, and they just seem to now every once in a while City just fold.
Right, we talked a lot about Champions League. We're gonna just do a quick preview of the upcoming Premier League fixtures, and Hayden's going to tell us a bit about Sunderland and his expectations for the upcoming game. So first things, I guess we're just going to do who you think is going to win and score predictions, and then we're going to give your top fantasy football picks for this week, and then we'll call it a wrap. We'll start with Arsenal versus Spurs. That's the biggest game. Team Takagi. What do you think?
I think the fans know. I mean, I have a feeling.
Lots of positive signs against Liverpool.
There's a after what I know, the Cronkies, they're American, and sometimes our fans think they're talking out their backside sometimes. But I feel like there's a better relationship now between the owners, the manager, and the fans. So they listen to us, it seems, and we're basically crying out for Pepe, Aubameyang, and Lacazette at the start. I think if they do, then Tottenham are going to struggle. Davinson Sanchez, he looks
very
shaky.
Suspect. I saw that goal against Newcastle, and I was
confused.
That looks like Sunday League five-a-side defending. We're just shouting at someone like, who was marking that person?
Alderweireld is a very, very good defender, but arguably they're a much different side when Vertonghen's not there. There's something about Vertonghen. I don't know if he's a leader or technically he's just got on the ball, but there's something about him that a lot different without Vertonghen. So if it's Davinson Sanchez, then and we play our front three, then we're gonna have a field day. I think it could be a battering potentially. It's at the Emirates as well, isn't it?
Yes, at the Emirates. Yeah.
So it could be very bad for Tottenham. That's how I feel. So yeah, I'm going with. If Mora and Son start, then I'll give them a goal, 3-1.
Yeah.
If they don't start, then I'm going 4-0.
Okay.
So you're hoping for Kane to start?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Hayden, I'm going to pass this one to you because I'm a Chelsea fan. Chelsea versus Sheffield United.
I'm going to say Chelsea 2-0.
Okay.
And it's going to be Tammy Abraham.
Jeez.
And I don't know any more Chelsea.
Tammy Abraham brace.
Yeah, okay, go on.
Tammy Abraham brace.
Lampard.
We're not in the Premier League anymore.
Josh, Team Takagi, you didn't mention who the score for your prediction.
I did.
You did, so I was going to say that's how much I pay attention to Arsenal fans. And just with you, Hayden. So from what I gather, Sunderland away to Peterborough. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And what are your expectations for that game?
I think we'll win it.
Okay.
And I think we'll be slow in the first half.
Okay.
But I think just like yesterday against Burnley, we'll come flying out the blocks.
Okay.
Second half, we'll get an early goal.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be 1-0 Sunderland.
1-0 Sunderland. Okay, fine. Okay, fair enough. Continuing that winning streak. So yeah, no, I hear that. Shawnee, Liverpool away to Burnley.
See, this was our banana pickle last season.
Yeah.
It was one of the draws that we had was Burnley. I'm fairly sure it was.
Ashley Barnes. Ashley Barnes versus Van Dijk. That is going to be, I think, a key contest.
Well, he scored in every game this season.
Yeah.
So like, I really would like Liverpool to in the dressing room before the games to say, let's do one over these guys today. Let's really get them back for what they did to us last season. They cost us a point. Let's just smash it. And yeah, so like if I have to give a score prediction, I'll say it's going to be a tight one. Is it? It's away to Burnley as well.
It's away, yes, away game, yeah.
So we have to be defensively sound. Ashley Barnes is going to give us. What they're going to do is they're going to get it. They're going to hoof it up the pitch. And they're going to try and get corners, and they're going to try and score from corners. That's
long ball
That's
up,
the plan.
like they did against Arsenal. Long ball up. Ashley Barnes, David Luiz in no man's land. And just.
Well, that's it. I mean, we'll have Van Dijk in. Not in no man's land.
That's the hope, So.
No, I have full faith. I think I don't know. Liverpool are having defensive troubles. There's no doubt about it right now that we are leaking goals. I don't like to say that with a team like Burnley, we have to say, listen, let's just go out. Let's not give them a shout in this game at all. Let it be one of our best games of the season. So I'm hoping for just a nice smooth 2-0. I think that'll be a brilliant result, 2-0 against Burnley away. That'll be fantastic.
I think that's a statement result. It's I feel like beating Wolves and beating Burnley, those types of teams are statement results, because those are the teams where often the majority of the league, especially the top 6, 7, 8, drop points because of how defensive they are. So
I'll go 2-0.
Who to score?
2-0.
Who to score for Liverpool?
I think Barnes is going to score.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want him to. I don't want Burnley to get a shout in this game.
I don't either, but Barnes is just an animal.
Who's to score the goals for Liverpool then?
So I'm a big Mane fan.
Okay.
I don't know. I keep saying it.
Keep him in your fantasy football after he misfired last week.
He's still in there. I just reckon he's going to have a better season than Salah.
Okay.
If Salah's come out, he keeps proving me wrong. He keeps smashing goals in. So I think Salah is still going to have a good season, but I don't know. Mane's just been absolutely sharp, and he's just been brilliant. So I just wish him all the best. And I think
when one has a bad game, the other just scores.
Exactly.
So.
That's one of the things that the defences can't handle is if they're going over to Salah and you leave Mane open. Damn. So I don't know. I'll go with Mane scoring, and I think we might get a penalty because VAR has been very kind to Liverpool. So I think we'll get a penalty, and we'll say Millie slots at home, 80th minute. So Mane and Millie. Okay, fine. Okay, going on to the other fixtures now. So I'm going to quickly do my what I think of United, and we'll just quickly breeze through the other fixtures. So United, Southampton away is going to be difficult, especially after our loss to Crystal Palace at home. We need a result, and we need a result big. The only thing I would say about maybe Southampton is that Southampton will probably give us a bit more space. I don't think they're going to be as organised as Crystal Palace, Burnley and Wolves are. So the only thing I would say about Southampton is that Southampton have a better midfield. And we don't have a midfield currently. So that might be a problem.
Southampton won their last game.
And they won their last game.
Brighton's had a good start to the season.
Exactly.
As well. So they beat Brighton away, Southampton. So that's almost a statement win. That's a good result. I'd love to go to Brighton and win 2-0.
Exactly.
True.
So
they did get a man sent off, but still.
But they lost. But then they lost to
Brighton. Who got sent off from Brighton?
Oh, I forgot his name. Andone.
Oh,
maybe?
Andone. Yeah.
Then Southampton did lose to was it their first game of the season? Maybe they just weren't. Well, they lost to Liverpool, obviously.
Liverpool,
then before that, they lost to Burnley 3-0 away.
Yeah.
You're Ashley Barnes brace. You're like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to happen with. That really doesn't happen with Burnley. But yeah, as a United fan, we got to win this. We do. Otherwise, discontent is going to see them. We need to really bounce back, and Southampton's midfield will be good, and they actually have better set piece takes and more press than we do. But I think the positive is that we'll have more space, and if we can just get them on the counter and just get a few 1 or 2 early goals, I think we'll be fine. I'm going to say 2-0 to Manchester United. I'm going to go with Martial and Rashford goals each.
Hopefully, because Martial's in my team.
Yeah, I think they need to. I don't think Pogba, because of the way they're going to play Pogba, and we're going to have our preview tomorrow when we're going to get a Southampton fan, a guy called Matchday Vlogs, so we're going to preview the game. But I suspect that Pogba. Well, I'm hoping that Pogba doesn't play deep again. That's the most important thing. Almost done, guys. We're just going to list like a few of the other games, and then we'll just quick. We'll go for the Fitch game, and then just result who's going to score the goals. So back to you, Hayden. Man City versus Brighton.
I'm gonna say 3-1 Man City,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say a brace for Sergio Aguero.
Okay.
One goal for Sterling.
Yep.
I think Murray is gonna get the goal for Brighton.
Fair enough. Yeah. Oh wait, Rasmus is saying. Sorry, interrupted. Martial's injured though.
He's got a thigh injury. He might play.
He might play or might not. I don't think it's confirmed that he's ruled out. Solskjaer's press conference is tomorrow, so we'll hopefully have word. If Martial is injured, then essentially Greenwood is going to start effectively. Yeah. Mason Greenwood is going to start if Martial's out. So we're going to essentially the amount of young players in the United squad is ridiculous.
You know
in the
what?
academy.
They should start him against Southampton.
That
Greenwood.
would be the time.
Yeah.
That would be the time.
I think maybe put him in Greenwood against. You have Greenwood, Rashford. The problem is that I don't want Lingard to play. I really don't want Jesse Lingard to play. I'm tired of it. It's so bad. I'd rather have Lingard play instead of.
It's like when you're a kid and you're really good at like sport.
Yeah.
And then like you're because you're quite big or something, or you're quite quick, and then 2 years later everybody else is caught up to you.
Yeah.
That's what Lingard's like. He's 27 now.
Yeah.
He's not a kid, and he's not as good.
He's just
everyone else is caught up to him.
He's banter.
Is he just adapting? Because obviously Solskjaer's got a new way of playing. For Mourinho, he was actually like a half decent player, wasn't he? Like Lingard.
Yeah,
he was getting goals and
maybe, but I think we have to be quicker. I get, but the thing is, what I've noticed with Lingard is more his touch. Like his touch has been awful.
Yeah.
Like there've been so many times when there were at least 2 or 3 instances where the ball came to his feet, especially against Wolves, and it just bounced or it wasn't able to control. Or it was bad. It was bad. Air shots and everything. So. But anyway, okay, yeah. City 3 was Hayden's prediction. City 3, Brighton 1. Again, minus score. Fair enough. Team Takage. I'll give this one to you. Everton Wolves.
Wolves just winning the Carabao Cup. I don't know if Wolves are still in. I can't remember now. Everton are obviously at home, so I think Everton had a bit of shaky start to this season. I think, is it 2 draws, 1 loss? I don't think they've won yet.
I don't know. Everton don't have a win yet, as far as I'm aware.
Wolves have. I think
they lost to Aston Villa. Everton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, they got a couple goals in the.
Oh, sorry. Everton did beat Watford 1-0.
Yeah, Everton got a couple goals midweek in the Carabao Cup, so that might give some confidence. I think I'm going to go 2-1 Everton on that one.
2-1 Everton. Who just scored?
Moise Keane and Digne free kick.
That's if he plays.
His free kicks.
It's if he plays Moise Keane, but yeah, I
mean,
get
if
you.
he doesn't, then Richarlison.
Shawnee, we're almost done. So Crystal Palace, Aston Villa.
Wow.
Just
quick
score and quick fire. Quick score.
Villa will keep their form up. I have Grealish in my fantasy football.
Okay.
So Grealish banging one in for Aston Villa. Just a simple 1-0 to Aston Villa. Snatching a late goal away to Palace.
So fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Rasmus A, I agree. Lingard has even caught up to the England squad. It baffles me that not only Solskjaer but also Southgate is not taking into account Lingard's abysmal form. I agree. Lingard needs to be dropped. And now that you've got someone like Jadon Sancho at Dortmund, who is because Lingard essentially plays on the right wing now, or he can play as number 10. But now you have Jadon Sancho who plays on the right. Why do you need to bring Lingard into the team? To be honest,
yeah,
you just don't. You really even Callum Hudson.
Is Lingard like a West Ham player? Do you reckon? Is he like one of them?
He's a Crystal Palace player. That's Lingard's level. That's Lingard's level. Everton's level. I'd say even Crystal Palace because Zaha's better than Lingard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if Zaha's there, then how? You know what I mean? If you replace Lingard with Zaha,
can't leave.
Fine. I would do that. Right. I'm just going back to Hayden and then finally with me because there's just a few more. Newcastle, Watford, Hayden.
Watford haven't won yet this season,
Sorry.
but I think that league cup win,
Yep.
1-0, will give them the confidence to go on
Okay.
to this game. So I'm going to say 1-0 to Watford, and I think Troy Deeney is going to get the goal.
Troy Deeney.
It's a biased opinion coming from Sunderland fan.
1-0 to. I mean, Newcastle are at home, so it'll be interesting. And Watford's form has not been the best, but fair enough. 1-0 to Watford away from home. Fair enough. What's next? So, lastly, Leicester. Oh, well, it's two. So I'll finish off the end. Team Takagi, Leicester City, Bournemouth.
I'll go with Leicester City just because I want to see them do well. They got another win in the week, even though it's penalties, I think. But I'm rating James Maddison. He's a fantastic play. He can get an assist from anywhere. Me and Famincio watching his assist he did with Vardy. I think last season it was fantastic.
Yeah.
What the heck
That was a crazy. That was almost like an Iniesta pass, like outside of the foot. Yeah.
So what's his score prediction?
I'll go with 3-1.
3-1. Okay, 3-1 Leicester. Who's to score the goals?
Go Maddison 1.
Talisman.
I hope so, but I didn't see him score many. We'll go Vardy, Talisman, and Maddison.
And who's scored the Bournemouth goal? You said 3-1.
Wilson.
Callum Wilson. Okay, fine.
No, Harry Wilson.
Harry Wilson, sorry.
My boy. He's one of my favourite players.
So the last game, and just before we go to fantasy football picks, is West Ham Norwich City. Guys, if you don't captain Pookie in this game,
I've got Pookie.
If you don't captain, not like
Pookie's on.
I think Norwich will win. It's West Ham. The thing is, Norwich have a bad defence. But West Ham also have a bad defence. And I just feel West Ham, especially now Mikel Antonio is injured, I think the Norwich can play a really good, fast, counter-attacking, quick game. And guys, if you don't have Pookie in your fantasy football team, if you don't captain him this week, you captain him, to be honest. I mean, we'll talk about that in a second, but I would argue it's a fair bet to captain Pookie this week, to be honest, because...
Over Salah?
The thing is that away to Burnley, it can go over two ways. Can Son and Mane, can they score? You don't know. It might be a 1-1. It might be not sort of... I just know for a fact, well, not for a fact, but I just have a hunch that Pookie is going to score some goals against West Ham.
I'm captaining him now.
So what was my prediction? My prediction is, because of how West Ham capitulate, I'm going to actually go 3-0 to Norwich. Because of how badly and they're away, but just of how badly West Ham capitulate, I think 2 goals for Pookie, definitely minimum, I think, if not a hat-trick, because I just think West Ham, they've had some bad results at home because they just cannot defend, and they don't really have any. What's West Ham's threat up front?
Haller, he scored last.
Haller, yeah, but Haller, Pookie, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's no competition there, really. Right, okay, just as we're just about to round up, top fantasy football picks for this week. Hayden, who do you think you should put in your team?
I'm going to put Aguero. I think he'll have another good weekend.
Okay.
This week. So I've actually got him in mind at the moment. So hopefully he does well and gets some points.
Okay, Aguero. Okay, fine. And then Team Takagi.
Yeah, so we're doing our sort of top pick and cheap pick.
Just to interrupt. We've got some breaking news here. Neymar is on the brink of seeing Barcelona return.
What?
Neymar is on the brink of. So I've just read a comment from Rasmus. I've just read it from Rasmus. Interesting, £182 million plus.
182
plus finish £182 million plus Todibo, Rakitic, and Dembele on season long deal for Neymar. So 182 million plus Rakitic, Dembele, and Todibo on a season long loan for Neymar.
If I was Barcelona, I'd tell them to do one. Are you nuts?
That's
I'm sorry, guys, but only Barcelona could do that. They have the money in order to pull off deals like that. No other team.
do they do? Because if you count, of course they spent 120 million, was it, on GREIZMAN? To spend 180 million, they spent 300 million. I'm sure they signed Frankie De Jong, who was, how much was Frankie De Jong? Was he?
How many strikers do they want?
Was 50 million? So minimum.
Where's this money come
They
from?
yeah.
Who did they
spent
sell?
they didn't sell anybody. they spent 350 million pounds, and that's just this transfer. They spent 120 on Dembele and then 150 on Coutinho, so another 300 million. So in 2 seasons, Barcelona have spent just under 700 million pounds on transfers. That is ridiculous.
How are they getting away with that?
So I know people talk about PSG and Man City spending money, but 700 million pounds in 2 years.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy. There must be some
And then
financial
Chelsea
fair
get a
play.
transfer, but anyway.
Yeah, Chelsea get transfer back.
And they're not even the biggest financial thing in, like, Real Madrid and United are the ones that make the most money globally. So I don't understand. So, but Hayden, you were saying, I'm just looking at the news articles.
That's absolutely insane. Like, I don't understand, first of all, how they can afford to do something like that, because obviously they spent the 200 million or they received 200 million for Neymar in the first place. But then they went on to spend a whole bunch on Griezmann. How much did they spend on Griezmann?
Yeah.
100 odd million.
100 odd million on Griezmann.
And they bought Dembele that year.
So the
Yeah.
BBC
It's
website,
like 88 million or
the
something.
BBC website is saying Barcelona and PSG have reached an agreement on the value of Neymar as the deal edges closer. Says Gillian Balaguer. Barca have offered 200 million euros, so 182 million in cash, plus defender Jean-Claire Todibo, midfielder Ivan Rakitic, and Ousmane Dembele on season-long loan.
It's absolutely
a defender, a midfielder, forward, and 182 million. And Ousmane Dembele is actually one of. So essentially, they spent 300 million
What kind
plus
of deal is this?
on Dembele and Coutinho, only for a year afterwards to put them both on loan.
They're like throwing in their wives soon to like just like pay for the. It's just ridiculous. What's going on? Would you give up Rakitic though? He's a brilliant player.
At a news conference on Thursday, PSG boss Thomas Tuchel said Neymar will not be involved in League One game against Metz on Friday. After the breakthrough negotiations, it now seems he will join the new club before Monday, La Liga transfer deadline at 11 BST. However, and this is the big however it seems, the deal hinges on the 3 players agreeing on a move to Paris, despite them not knowing anything about it being included in the transfer talks. So Balaguer added, it is not done. There is still a big bridge to be crossed because none of the 3 players have said they want to go.
It's mental.
Dembele's agent recently said he's 200% staying at Barcelona. So I think that's the caveat here, is that this deal only works.
They're offering players that don't want to leave.
Exactly.
Like,
so
hold on.
if Dembele says no, then that's it, really, isn't it?
Is 200 million not enough?
It's 182.
Joke?
Well,
It's like-
PSG obviously wants to make the money back. They spent 200 million pounds on Neymar, and they want their money back.
Yeah, which they did with
Yeah.
shirt sales.
Like, I thought the 182 million should be fine.
Yeah.
They
Right.
take a bit of a loss. He
Right.
goes, but they were like, no.
That's driving a hard
Yeah,
bargain,
it's
isn't
not
it?
even
Yeah.
a loss. They must have made a mint whilst Neymar was there.
Was there, exactly.
So like, it's not even a loss. It's just like, here's 200 million. No, that's not good enough.
Honestly,
We also want 3 of your players.
This is for me is one of the biggest like disgraces of like a transfer I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
Neymar, he's good. Don't get me wrong, but I'd have players like Kante.
Yeah.
I'd have players like
Yeah.
even Hazard over Neymar.
Yeah.
Personally, Mane over Neymar.
Seriously,
like it's not just about.
I would have made sense if they were like,
Even like Messi.
let's get 200 million pounds and buy it on Kante, because Busquets is a joke, frankly, right now. Like he's
or like Van Dijk.
he is fair enough.
Like 200 million Van Dijk. Come here.
Because you're literally just like, I mean, the only thing you will say is that an attack with Suarez, Messi, Griezmann, and Neymar, and you're
an aging Messi, aging Suarez.
Messi's still good though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Messi
the
aging Messi is
Isn't he
still
only 31?
31. Yeah, just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's 34.
Luis Suarez is dipped definitely.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when you've got Griezmann, I mean, I don't know
How
how.
old's Griezmann now? Like 28.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to play. I don't know how they're going to play if they get all four together. To be honest, because
Yeah, what are they going to do?
you've got to play the front three MSN, and then what? You're going to play Griezmann behind, so you're going to have like Griezmann almost as like an attacking midfielder just in front, but he's more.
Is he going to be happy with that? I don't even think Griezmann's going to be happy with that, is he?
Griezmann's good as a number 10 though. So if
Yeah.
you play Griezmann in a number 10 role, so what you do is I think they'll probably play Suarez up top.
Yeah.
And then maybe like Messi or Neymar on both sides, and then basically like Griezmann behind Suarez possibly.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I think maybe. You know, Rasmus say Neymar is very.
They don't even have a midfield anymore if they're getting rid of Rakitic and
yeah. All teams have to do is they just do long ball. Like just
Yeah.
Burnley, just like sure, you know,
Just
long
smash
ball
it.
up to Ashley Barnes, you know, knocks over PK, goal, and that's it. You know, so. Rasmus say Neymar is very overrated. I mean, what has he done lately on the football pitch? I agree. He's also very injury prone. So they got rid of Neymar because he was injury prone.
Yeah.
So Dembele, because he was injury prone. But Neymar has also just been as injury prone for PSG. You know.
Yeah. I just wouldn't even.
No.
I mean, what's the Barcelona message being sent there? Just like the players aren't even aware that they're just being
Coutinho's
transferred
gone.
over. Yeah, Coutinho.
It's like they don't care. They must not care.
But the
about
thing is,
him.
part of me is just like, you know, for the future. So you're talking about preparing for the future. You bought two players that were the fortune. You put them now on loan, and so you've only got Frankie De Jong.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say Neymar is not really the future. Let's be honest here.
He's like 26.
Neymar's 20. No, he's 28. I think now.
28?
27, 28, something like that. Or maybe at least 27, definitely. So Neymar is not a for the future signing. Griezmann is not for the future signing. So the way I see it is, again, even if Barcelona do get a bit of success this season, in another 1 or 2 years, those players that they brought in Neymar's and Griezmann's, are going to be, aside from Frankie De Jong, are going to be 30. And so what are you going to do here?
Yeah.
You know, so it's very strange. It's very strange. Hayden, do you have any last thoughts on this before we wrap up?
This for me just goes to show like the power that some of these top clubs like possess nowadays above other teams, and you know, people say that clubs are buying leagues, and you know, in a way you can agree with it, and I wouldn't mind seeing like some sort of financial fair play come in, because you know it's unfair on other teams. Because you know every season now it seems to be Man City and Liverpool. I mean the Leicester City story a couple of seasons ago. You know nobody had ever seen it before. No one ever saw that coming.
I mean, you could at least in Liverpool's case, at least with Liverpool, they spend what they generally bring in. So the money that they paid for Van Dijk and Alisson came from the Coutinho money. So you can kind of be like, fair enough, you balanced the boots, you made a net, it's fine, it's okay, because you sold and bought. I don't think I have any issues with that. The issues that I have with specifically Barcelona, because City, to be fair, in the last 2 seasons they just made a 62. I think they made 2 successful signings, you know. But again, they haven't uploaded as much. But Barcelona is spending almost £700 million. Well, effectively £700 million if they complete this Neymar deal and then some in 2 seasons. And you're like, who did they actually sell in those 2 seasons? Really? Did they sell anybody? Who's gone?
Well, Neymar.
Before for £200 million, but then they spent all that money on. Well, they didn't even spend. They took a deficit because they took the 200 and they spent it on Coutinho and Dembele. That both combined were 250 million plus. Anyway,
who they're now chucking out on
they're
loan.
not chucking out on loan. So it's
What are they doing?
It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Anyway, guys, the stream has gone for a while, so we're going to call it a wrap. You know, so. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate everyone's was coming on. Thanks, Shawnee. Thanks, Hayden. Thanks, Team Takage. Thank you guys for tuning in to Red Devil Studio Live, and join us again next week. If you're listening to the channel, you're new to the channel, we appreciate the support. Please like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, and stay tuned for our match preview against Southampton tomorrow with our special guest. Have a nice evening, guys, and cheers.